You do not need 99 AI tools to write great fiction. You need a small stack, one stack, a small, ruthless set of tools that you actually open every single day that help you get the words on the page, ship the books, and make readers happy. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my exact AI fiction stack. This isn't theory. This is not a list of tools I might try someday. These are the apps that are literally open all the time on my computer, almost daily, on my screen when I'm writing, editing, marketing, and publishing my books. I'll walk you through the core brain that runs pretty much all of my writing workflows, as well as the visual tools I use for covers, concept art, and soon AI film, and the dictation tool that lets me write my thoughts out far faster than I could type them, the editor that smacks my prose around and tells me where I suck, and a few honorable mentions of why I don't use some of the big name AI novelist tools anymore, even though they're good. And at the end, if you want to shortcut a lot of this and just plug into my actual automations, I'll tell you how to get that. So let's get to the stack. If you don't know me, my name is Jason Hamilton. I help aspiring authors use AI to crank out more and better books faster without turning your stories into generic robot mush. And when I started using AI, I did what most writers do. I signed up for everything. I had Pseudowrite, Novel Crafter, random wrappers, shiny new tools, and I was still, honestly, kind of stuck. There were too many tools, too many overlapping features, too many all-in-one promises that weren't actually built around how I write books. So instead of chasing the next tool, I sat down and built a stack, which includes a few core tools, each with a clear job, that I actually use every day or near every day. And that's what I'm going to walk you through now. So think of this as the ultimate AI fiction stack author edition. Use mine as a template, then tweak it to fit your own workflow and your own brain. Now let's start with the most boring part of the stack, which is Claude Pro. Now here's how I think about it. Every stack needs one chatbot model. And a place you can just throw random questions, troubleshoot, brainstorm, get code help, rewrite emails, and do all of the non-book tasks that clutter your creative brain. And for me, that's Claude. Now, I used to use Perplexity as my main general purpose AI, and I still use Perplexity a lot for things like research and tech troubleshooting, and as a sort of Google replacement, that kind of stuff. But because of some issues with their terms of service that I recently made a video about, I made a switch so that my paid chat brain, or my catch-all for everything that doesn't fall into any of the other categories, is with Claude Pro. Now, how I actually use Claude daily, I'll use it for things like quick prompts that don't fit any of my automations, turning messy notes into checklists or action plans, sanity checking ideas before I build a full workflow in N8N, as well as tasks like summarizing long tech docs or platform updates and that kind of thing. So you could use ChatGPT or something else for this. Yes, you could. The key principle is having one main chat model that you pay for and rely on, and don't scatter your brain across 5 half-used tabs. For me, that's Claude Pro as my primary, sometimes Perplexity, because I still, as big of the problems as I have with the terms of service, they're still one of my favorite tools, and I still use them for some things. Quick break. Most people watch these videos nod along and then don't write. I built my Story Hacker membership to fix that. For just $5 a month, you get my books, which are worth over $200 if you bought them on Amazon, the bulk of my courses, and a community of writers all helping each other win. All inside the community, so you've got one place to go and get your dream books written. If that sounds good to you, just hit the link in the description, join the $5 tier, and we'll get you onboarded. It's the price of a coffee, and you'll have zero reason not to win. All right, now the next one, this is the big one. This is the central nervous system of my writing life, and that is N8N. Now, if you don't know what N8N is, think of it like this. It's a kind of visual automation tool where you can build workflows that connect AI models, APIs, documents, and logic into a repeatable system. Any repeatable AI prompt system that I've created now lives inside of an N8N workflow. Now, what does that look like in practice? Well, we have the actual writing process. This is everything from the initial idea to fleshing out the characters, to the writing, to the editing, all of that. I also use it for analyzing books and film scripts, which I call story hacking, which has been a really valuable tool for me to learn more about what makes these stories tick and how to write something similar. I also use it to develop things like marketing materials, which speaks for itself. And one thing I'm getting into in the near future is translations. Like, how can we get translations that kind of go with all of the quirks of the language, rather than being a direct, literal, word-for-word translation, which isn't always very good. Is N8N more technical than just click-a-button AI tools? Yes, it is. Is it worth pushing through that learning curve? Also, yes. Because once you build it, you're not prompting anymore. You're operating your own personal software, essentially. And I'm in the process of taking all of these N8N automations and turning them into a tool that's way easier to use without you needing to mess with nodes and JSON. Although if you still want to create your own automations, it's still worth checking N8N out. But my tool is going to be exclusive to my membership, which I'll talk to at the end of this video. Now, for now, just understand N8N is where my real AI writing happens. Everything else is really just support of this tool. Next up, let's talk about visuals. Because even if you're just a writer, visuals matter still. You have book covers, you have ads, you have social media visuals, you have website banners, character art, mood boards, all of those kind of things to see your world. And for that, my go-to is still MidJourney. Now, is MidJourney dumber than some newer models in terms of raw reasoning? Probably. It lacks behind a lot of these other newer models. But is it still the best overall for pure aesthetic and just general vibes? In my experience, yes. So this is how I use MidJourney for my own business. I use it for things like character reference sheets, location concept art, style exploration for a new series, early cover mockups, so I know what direction to give a human designer later, visual prompts that I later feed into video tools. And I know a lot of AI video people who do the same thing. They start with MidJourney to nail the look, the composition, and the mood because it has those good aesthetics, right? And then they hand those images over to other tools for animation or further tweaking. And that's exactly how it plugs into my stack. MidJourney is essentially the style generator and where I get those basic image assets. But this next tool is where I take that to the next level, and it's called Higsfield. Higsfield is an AI visual platform that aggregates a ton of different models, and I primarily use it for additional image generation beyond MidJourney, as well as experimenting with newer models and increasingly working with AI video. Now, here's why I'm so bullish on this piece of the stack. Now, if you didn't know this about me, I actually originally wanted to be a filmmaker back in college and in high school before that even. And the gap between the novelist and the filmmaker is shrinking fast because of AI video. I think we're reaching a stage where we're just going to be creative directors of various IP, and it's not just going to be, you won't just be limited to being a novelist or a filmmaker. You can do both, right? And Higsfield, from all the research that I've done, is one of the better aggregators out there. They also give me unlimited nano banana generations, which means I can crank through a ridiculous amount of visual iterations without worrying about every single credit. So my visual pipeline looks roughly like this. I'll start with style and concept exploration in MidJourney, and then I'll move over to Higsfield for further image work and video tests if I'm doing that. And then I might use Nano Banana Pro through Higsfield to tweak and evolve those concepts. Right now, I'm still using the video stuff lightly, but my intention is to lean heavily into this as I move toward more film-like projects based on my stories. Now, there's an important note here. Higsfield doesn't have MidJourney access because MidJourney doesn't offer an API, at least not yet. And that's why I have both. The MidJourney subscription for pure visuals and then Higsfield for everything else, as well as the videos I'm planning on working on in the future. Because one of the easiest ways to speed up your writing without using AI for the actual generation is simple. You stop typing everything and use a dictation AI software. Personally, I use Aqua Voice, but Whisperflow is another one I know of that's supposedly very good. And the way I use it in practice is I'll just click into a text box anywhere on a screen and I'll hit a hotkey and then just start talking. And then Aqua Voice turns my speech into text right in that box. The kind of things that I use it daily for are things like social media posts, especially posts inside of my school group, as well as capturing story ideas before I lose them and brain dumping notes on characters, worlds, and my future books, outlines, and stuff like that. A big advantage isn't just speed, although that is huge. It's actually just reducing friction. Because the more chances that you give your brain to say, I'll do that later, the fewer words that you will write. Dictation kills a lot of that friction. And if you've never tried dictating fiction, here's a simple way to get started. Open your Notes app or a document, turn on Aqua Voice or any solid dictation tool. Like I said, Whisperflow is fine too. And then talk through a scene as if you're describing it to a friend. Then later, you can clean it up with AI or editing tools. Next up is editing. The tool I use for this is AutoCrit, as well as some of my N8N automations I mentioned earlier. Now, AutoCrit isn't strictly an AI writing tool, but it does have a few AI features. More importantly, it also gives you data on your writing, which is super valuable. Now, here's how I use it. I like to use the alpha and beta readers to get AI feedback that is aligned with a certain type of reader. I also like line editing metrics like the number of adverbs, dialogue tags, sentence variation, and all of this uses genre comparison that shows how my books stacks up against others in my category. And this matters because most authors edit based on vibes, like I think it's too slow or this feels clunky. And AutoCrit lets me see the patterns in my writing and quantify some of the issues, as well as prioritize what to fix first. And I don't outsource my taste to it, but I do use it as a kind of dashboard to check certain things like, am I overusing certain word constructions? Is my pacing way off the norm for this genre? Are my dialogue tags distracting? And it's not flashy, but it makes the stack stronger. Now, there are a few tools that I use constantly that aren't generative AI, but are absolutely part of my author stack. First up is Publisher Rocket. This is what I use for keywords and category research for Amazon. It also helps me aim my books where readers already are. And then the next one is Atticus, which is a formatting tool. I use that to create my ebook and print PDF formats, and it's one of the main tools for actually turning manuscripts into publishable files. And then the next one that I use is Adobe Photoshop. There are probably cheaper open source options to this, but I just use it because that's what I've grown up accustomed to. And I use that for subtle cover formatting work. So things like changing the trim size, tweaking the back blurb, fixing small layout issues. And then there's MibleArt or their little sister Get Covers. And these are the book cover services that I use for the non-AI covers that I want on my books, especially my tentpole books, where I want something that is more effective than AI. Because here's the truth about AI covers. A skilled human designer who knows your subgenre will still beat AI for optimized, market-aware covers every time. Now, I'll use AI for concepts, but I bring in the pros when it matters most. So think of it like this. Generative tools help create words and images, and these infrastructure tools help you publish and sell what you create. And you honestly need both. Now, you might be wondering why I haven't mentioned some of the big AI fiction names out there like Novel Crafter, Raptorite, or Sudowrite. Now, let me be clear about this. These are good tools. If you're already deep into one of them and it's working for you, keep going. They absolutely can help you write books much more effectively than trying to do everything manually. So why aren't they in my current stack? Well, because at this point, I get better results out of my own automations. When you're an early AI writer, an all-in-one wrapper tool is amazing. You get structure, you get smart defaults, you don't have to be an automation nerd. But over time, I found myself wanting more control over the prompts, more flexibility with models, more integration with the rest of my systems. And that's what nudged me into building with N8N instead. There was just far more power there. But this is important because my choice to use my own stack is about my preferences and my workflows. It is not a statement that these tools are bad. If you love Novel Crafter or Raptorite or Sudowrite and you're getting books done, amazing. The worst thing you could do is blow up a working system just because I use something different. Use the stack that keeps you writing, not the stack that feels fanciest. Now, if you watched this and thought, okay, this sounds awesome, but I don't really want to build all those N8N automations from scratch, that's exactly what my Story Hacker Gold membership is for. Inside Story Hacker Gold, I'm taking the automations and workflows that I actually use to write, analyze, and market my books, and I'm turning them into a tool that's way easier for you to use. It's not ready yet, but will be an open beta within the group very soon. Plus, the whole membership is built to help you hit 20+ books fast with AI without losing your voice or burning out. So if you want to plug into my stack instead of reinventing it, check the link in the description below, join Story Hacker Gold, and let's build your AI-powered catalog with a stack similar to what I've gone over today. And I'll see you in the next video.